Hello.
Hey everybody,
Hi.
welcome to another Cinemondo not a trailer reaction. This is a
No,
movie
we're doing
review.
movie reviews today.
Yes, and this is a film that a lot of people, recommended for us to watch, and we did watch it, and we're finally getting around to talking about it. The
And
movie came,
I wanted to think about it for a while because I saw this film and it really stuck with me. And again, I love horror films of all
right,
stripes. And so I
right.
watch everything. And it's really hard to get my attention because I feel like I've seen everything. I still love them. They're like a comfort zone. But I always am like surprised when one movie can actually surprise me or draw me in or kind of blow me away because it's hard to find original horror films. Well, this
Yes.
one, like, it was not only was it like original, it was just so unique in its presentation that I just had to I just wanted to let it sit for a second so I could think about it
Yes.
because it was so good.
Well, let's let it sit for a few more seconds before we get into it and
But
talking
before
about
you find out what we really thought, which I've already given it all away, subscribe and
uh,
comment
Yes,
and like.
please do. We really appreciate it, and thanks for doing it. And we will not discuss any more of that right now. We'll put it away. But let's get back to the film that Kathy
Yes,
loved, and I did too, called Tumbbad, which came out in
mhm,
2018,
yes,
and it was directed by the same director who did Ship of Thesis,
yep.
Anand Gandhi, and boy, he's talented.
So
I
good.
mean, yeah, it's just like wow. And this film, um, well, there's so much to say about it, but I think initially for me, I knew it was someone said "Hey, it was made for a low budget, but it
Yeah.
certainly doesn't show
Oh.
in the film. And it won a couple of Filmfare awards for best cinematography and set design, production design, and I can see why. I mean,
Yeah.
and the film is sort of to me, it was like three different films. It was like three parts. There was the initial part where it's all about
Mhm.
this mother and its two brothers who go to this very rainy place
Really
called,
desolate, like, it was basically, like, one little tiny house in the middle of
yeah,
nowhere with a
right,
torrential downpour the whole time, and
yes,
apparently, I've heard some of our commenters said, "That's a real place, and it really does rain all the time." I was like, "That just looks really
wow,
s."
wow,
That's what they say. I
yeah,
have not been there, but they did a great job of establishing this environment that just was so oppressive and so sad and
yeah,
gray but still gorgeous, like, they did these epic skies, these shots of the house along the horizon and these beautiful big skies and the
beautifully
rain coming
shot,
down. Everyone's always wet and there's mud everywhere. I mean, it was just they did such a great job of establishing this,
right.
sense of place.
Yeah, and the two young actors, the two brothers, they're great. And
Oh, so good.
the first third is really the story about them and
Mhm.
taking care of their quote unquote grandmother, who is, you have to see the film. I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's really like scary stuff,
Mhm.
like genuinely freaky. The first third,
It's
don't you
that thing
agree,
of,
Kathy?
like, as a little kid, sometimes when, your great-grandparents, and they're usually kinda sick and as a kid, you don't quite understand that, and it's always a little scary, the whole thing of, like, go in and see grandma. It's like, "Oh, no, I don't wanna see
Yeah,
grandma." So it's kinda
right,
scary. So they take that and they just turn up the volume of, like,
right,
their grandma is, like, chained to a wall, basically, and she
right.
just seems off. They're afraid of her. They're like, "Do not," like, there's all these rules about what to do when you're in the room with her, so they make it super scary, but they're like, "Okay, go take care of her," and they're like,
Yeah.
"No,
Yeah,
I don't want to."
nobody wants to go in that room, but their mother's very like, you have to do this.
Yep.
We do this for a reason. We don't know why, but you have
Yeah,
to
we're
do
all like,
this.
"What's the big" I mean,
Yeah,
first of all, she's, family, apparently,
right,
maybe.
right. Um, so that part, the first third, is just really intense, and I'm going,
Really
my
good.
God, right
That
off the
opening
bat,
scene, oh my
it's
god,
great. It's like, and
so
it's
good.
and it does, like stuff that freaks me out or scares me. It's like Kathy said, it's very hard for that to happen to me.
Yeah.
But you get that feeling that, oh my God, this is something different, and it is kind of creeping me out a bit. And this film does it. The first
Well, you know
third,
what's so scary about it is I feel like I couldn't predict what was gonna happen, and so
sure,
the thing that I find comforting, I know people think it's weird, that I find comforting about horror films is I always feel like I know what's gonna happen.
right,
Here's the killer, he's killing the people, here's the person who's antagonist, they're gonna take him out, they're gonna get win in the end, end of story, whatever it is. But in this film, I felt like all bets are off. I had no idea what it was gonna be about. I had no idea where it was gonna go. Like, and even just the cultural differences, like the kind of things that scare, people in Indian films or scare people in American films is sometimes different. So it makes this kind of this kind of horror very unique and even
yes.
creepier because you don't even fully understand it. So I
And
really, really liked that part
the
of it.
fact that we still think about it, we were
Mhm.
thinking about this months later, says a
Yes.
lot because we've seen hundreds of movies in between,
Yeah.
But then the second third of
Yeah,
the
then it
film,
takes it it's like a chapter almost. Then the
it,
next chapter is
yeah, it's when he's
yeah,
it's like 20 years later or something,
yeah.
and he's an adult, and it's
Mhm.
more of a domesticated sort of what's going on in his life.
He's
What's
kind of a
his
rogue,
yes,
kind of a scandalous sort of dude.
yeah, and his marriage and his business relationships. You sort of see what he
Mhm.
is as a grown up and what happened to
Yeah.
why this happened to him and what he's really doing. And it does
Mhm.
obviously connect to the when he's a child, the first part.
We can
And
add a
so,
little bit of spoiler
go ahead.
to this because otherwise it's hard to talk about the rest of the film because
Yeah.
we want to talk about what's scary, but yeah, we should definitely do a spoiler warning here. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, so basically, in the depths of Earth, in this location, there's a creature that wears a loincloth. See, even this is just so weird. Where and it's kind of like I guess it's a god. Yeah, we're talking spoilers now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But you take gold coins out of the loincloth that this little creature is wearing. So you have to kind of basically stick your hand in a diaper and pull stuff out. It's
Right.
very strange, right?
Yeah.
But you can't leave the circle of protection when you go down in there, or all bets are off.
Right.
Who knows what will happen. So he has to
Right.
move really fast by distracting it, and then runs in. So he's making his money by basically risking his life to go down into this womb of Mother Nature, going
Yeah.
down in here, stealing gold, and then making a living. That's basically how he makes his money.
Right. He goes down there and somehow, yeah, he protects himself, grabs these gold coins out of the
Mhm.
loincloth of this
Yes.
creature, this
Yep.
demon, and then takes off. And then when he's
Yep.
running out of money, he goes back and does the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's what,
So, but as all happens with humans, greed.
yes,
Greed, greed in every form is always everyone's downfall. Whether you're playing video games, whether you're watching movies, if you're a greedy bastard, you will fucking pay the price.
right.
And so,
And that's
of
what the
course, the
third,
gold, it's never enough gold. Never
it's never
enough.
enough gold.
Never
And
enough
it's
gold.
like,
Gotta figure out a way to make this less labor intensive.
right. And so the third part of the film is when he sort of, he recruits his son
Right. Yes,
to,
which is like, are you kidding me right
you're
now?
going to
Like,
come with me and you're
I
going to
mean,
come and you're
he's
going
gonna
to,
risk his son's life to
right.
do this.
This is what kind of a rogue, as Kathy said, this guy is. He's not the most pleasant character,
And that's what's kind of fun about him. He's kind of an anti-hero, but you kind of relate to it because wow, if I knew there was something that had that kind of treasure, it would be tempting not to want to do something about it because he's done it his whole life too. In a way, it's sort of all he knows.
It's all he knows, and also there's excitement in it. There's a bit of
Mhm.
uh,
He feels like he's sort of talented. He's the only guy
yeah,
who can figure it out.
right. So I can see why you would be
Yeah.
addicted to doing that. But so
Yeah.
you recruit your son to go, and you're going to learn. You're going to learn our family business. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to make gold, and it's
Yeah,
really gross.
yeah. We're going to go to rainy Tumbbad to this weird basement of this old house, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So that's the last third, and the last third is brilliantly staged. I mean, when you go down, and
It
Kathy's right,
was
you
like
go into this
holding my breath. It was
yeah,
so like epic and creepy. Oh my god.
and like it feels like Mother Nature's tomb, and it's this red walled sort of,
You really feel like you're down in a womb. It is gross.
yeah,
It's creepy.
it's kind of like bloody,
Mhm.
like sticky.
Yep.
So there's everything about it. It's just like ooky, but they're down there and they do their ring of sand,
And they
or
fuck up
they
as
go
always.
the kid. Right. It's a great scene. I mean, it
Oh,
really
it
is
was
a
just like, oh
climactic
my
scene.
god. It's like you did not expect it. You don't know
Right.
what's gonna happen, and you're just
Because
like
you,
it just
because
becomes epic.
yeah,
It's
because
just so epically. I saw it and I was just like, I almost didn't want to finish the movie. I was so overwhelmed with that
yeah,
scene.
because throughout the whole movie you think it's one demon.
It's one demon, right? Oh, I have an idea.
Yes.
Let's
Let's
give it more to distract it. Oh wait, I just summoned a bunch of more demons.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
oh, it was
And that
so
is
good.
just
But think of all the
fantastic.
gold. Mm,
Yeah. And I also think about the scene of like,
mhm.
them trying to get out, because there's probably like, I don't know, I'm gonna guess maybe 20 feet up to the hole to get
Yeah,
out.
you're
And
in this little rope, like kind of.
rope thing, and it was like, and it was so well shot that it looked like, yeah, it's really way up. He's really way up there. That's not that
Yes.
easy. It was just beautifully shot, and
Yeah,
that's
it
why
really
it
was.
won the awards it did, because well
Mhm.
deserved. So it's like three different chapters. They're
Yeah.
all equally interesting. The second one is not horror based. It's more like it's more like character.
It's almost like a crime drama kind of in a way in the middle.
Middle,
Like he's,
yeah, right,
there's debt, there's trying to save the business, there's,
right,
cheating on his wife and just
right.
not cheating. There's a lot of drama going on, but it only lends to making the character more relatable and also like, more human, well-rounded.
Yes.
But, what I think I loved about it too is that it's kind of a folklore kind of horror where I could see, Guillermo del Toro being very comfortable filming this kind of a movie. Like it felt had a Guillermo del Toro feel to it. It felt very like earth-based and very ancient magic ritual kind of feeling to it. And that to me is like a beautiful kind of horror because in a way you feel like people kind of get what they deserve in this kind of horror usually.
Yeah, and it's
It's
kind
like
of had that
don't mess
gothic
with nature.
vibe, like the color palette of it is
Mhm.
very much that way. And yeah,
Exactly.
you're spot on with Guillermo del Toro. He could take
Yeah.
this and
Totally.
do a
Mhm.
remake. But it's please, watch
Yeah.
this because it's skillfully made
Yes. If you're
and
looking for a
beautifully
good
acted.
horror movie and you're sick of the dumb stuff that's coming out and that you've seen it a million times, I highly recommend this to horror fans. I mean, you cannot beat this kind of craft and just attention to detail and just the sheer originality of it. I can't rave enough about this film.
Yeah, and again, it's hard to find something that's genuinely throws you off. I don't want to say scary,
Mhm.
'cause scary that there's an implication there, but it's more like it throws
Disturbing.
you off.
Yeah.
It's disturbing. It's weird.
Can't
I
predict.
haven't seen it before.
Mhm.
Creepy. All those things apply to this movie.
I know we gave a lot away, but we didn't give away everything. So, even
No,
though if you've watched this review and you haven't seen the film yet and you feel like you kinda know it, you don't, and you really just need to see it because how
yeah,
we're describing it doesn't even do it justice. So
no,
definitely take
no,
a moment, take a nice rainy day and watch this movie because
yeah,
it's so good.
yeah. And if you're if you're in the United States, this is streaming on Netflix,
Yes,
so you can
easy,
yeah.
easy.
There's so many hidden
Netflix.
gems in some of these
So
streaming,
many.
and it's like you just go right by. I don't know what Tumbbad is, but
Yep,
please stop and check it out because it's really
definitely
worth.
watch it.
And I want to go. I want to see ship. With a lot of people have said watch Ship of Thesis, which is this
Oh, yeah.
director's former film from 2012,
Mhm.
and based on this, is something we should definitely check out.
Yeah, we'll definitely be checking that out. So yeah, check it out. Let us know what you thought of this film. We've been getting a lot of referrals for this movie, the trailer
Yeah.
and the film, and so we're finally covering the film because it just needs to be covered and the world
Yes.
needs to see it,
Yes.
basically. All
So
right.
we loved it, and thank you so much for that
Thank
suggestion.
you.
And keep them coming
Mhm.
because that was a great film.
So good.
Okay.
Alright.
See you
Bye,
guys
guys.
soon.
See you next
Bye.
time.
Bye.